All right, listen. I need y'all to give it up, Brooklyn, one time for my man, the Drench God, Titty Boy, 2 Chainz. One time, you right here, my brother. Before we start, can I get a trill? Trill. Yo, get comfortable. Get comfortable. Let's go. It's the Drench God right there.
These are bloody shoes. How y'all doing tonight? That light is bright.
It's a little bit. Yo, welcome to Genius, man. Welcome to Brooklyn, man. Me and you have a lot of history, and we haven't done one here yet. So this is very special, man. So I'd like to thank you for coming first and foremost.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you got this new album, man. A masterpiece, really. We really being real.
Thank you.
Pretty Girls Like Trap Music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you got pretty girls in the house? I see a little more than that. We got some pretty girls in the house?
It's the tongue after the A that's what they doing. But I think everybody likes trap music, but the meaning for me behind Pretty Girls Like Trap Music was, it's like ever since I was in school, it would always be that girl that wouldn't mess with none of the homeboys at the school. She would always mess with somebody older or somebody that was just, that dropped out or something. So it was just that lure for somebody bad or somebody on that thug type of shit or whatever. So it still applies to this day, and that's kind of like where it derived from. You look at a girl and you would think, oh man, she probably likes this type of music, when she actually likes the most ratchetest lyrics to the most ratchetest records ever. And so, and
I mean, who would you be if you didn't give her what she asked for, right?
Nah, yeah, I had to do that. I had to.
Man, I really want to kind of explore trap music, though, and I think that's one of the reasons why we got you here. Because, I mean, this drives the culture. This is the culture right now, if we're being real. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know that everybody understands the origins of trap music. We dance to it in the club. We ride around to it in our cars. But this is a real lifestyle that's surrounded by trap music. So I want to start off, by asking you about, when you was in your other profession before rap.
Yeah.
What was the soundtrack? What were the things that you were listening to? What kind of soundtrack your day?
I would listen to Dipset when I was off in packs too,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I just listened to hustler music. That's what attracted me. But at first I couldn't. I guess at first I couldn't. The language was different from Atlanta, because New York, essentially had traps too. They just had a different name for it or whatever. You know what I mean?
The corner, the spot.
Yeah, whatever it was. The bodega, whatever the hell they was doing. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely you get your bacon, egg, and cheese, and urea.
I didn't know what that was for a long time, and so. In Atlanta, I just was attracted to hustlers' music. You had T.I., you had Jeezy. A lot of people from Atlanta that I can personally, speak on, had dealings with the streets. You know what I mean, and made it out and made a way for their family. And then like I always was attracted to East Coast music for the substance, for the lyrical content, for the samples and things like that. So, I was on the, I rock with Jay. I loved all the Cuban links and like the Raekwon type of, stuff, because it was like they was talking like hustler lingo and stuff like that. So when I was doing my 1-2 thing, I like all that kind of stuff.
Mm. Now, when did you first, the first time I heard somebody, just being from New York, and somebody referred to the trap, as we now know it. For me personally, was on a Outkast record.
Okay, yeah.
Sporty Dobalicious on the Aquemini album. When Big Boy is doing his 1-2, and he said, "Now you back in the trapped."
That's when the trap, yeah.
Was that the first time?
I think it's the first time that somebody probably said it on the record. It was alive and well in the city. I think it was a voice. But Atlanta and down south music in general was generalized through like booty shake music. Like Miami was like booty shake, and then like we was right there by Miami, so a lot of people got Atlanta music kind of confused with booty shake. And then when like Outkast came and was able to like actually put lyrical content and substance, like Andre 3000 is still one of my favorite rappers in the world, and when he was able to
I give it up. Y'all give it up, Drew.
Yeah. And so for him to be able to transcend, talk about, the Martyr Bus, paint pictures about local things that we could relate to. And they weren't necessarily like hustlers, you know what I mean? Like if you know the Dungeon Family or Rico Wade, their whole mindset from the beginning was to change the world, was to be different, was to have substance and things to stand on and talk about. And then, we had Tip come and actually name. Well, Tip put out an album that I think he had a deal or something that wasn't so successful, and I think he just went back to the drawing board, like to what he was like. His gut told him, and he made trap music or something somewhere in there. And the city just flocked to it because it was so relatable to the city. And I always felt like anything that people liked in Atlanta was spread, because Atlanta was like, it was not like a country town. It was like, this was like Atlanta. So I always felt confident about that. And then I remember, Jeezy and, other people just coming and just taking it to another level, really just adding, protein shots to it, adding steroids to it, and they passed the torch to, like me and Future, and it just keeps passing, and that's why I think Atlanta has been kind of on top for 10, 20 years or something.
You referenced T.I., man, and in 2001 he dropped a particular record, Dope Boys in the Trap.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple of years later he drops his album Trap Music, and kind of really puts the stamp on it. What's going on in your life at this time, 2001, 2002, 2003? Like, what is Titty Boy doing?
I had a plug, like, I was with, around that time was my introduction to hanging out. I mean, we're even signing with Luda and Disturbing the Peace and all of that. But even though in the position that I was in, I think I used that to like travel, meet people, and I actually met a plug, like just being on the road. And when I got a plug, it was like, I really didn't. I mean, I cared about rap, but more or less I felt like I had something that could hold me down, which was hustling, which was trapping, which was, trying to sell bags. And then I think that's how I built like a solid relationship in the hip hop community, because a lot of the artists that came to Atlanta, they had to come see me or something like that. And I never was somebody that would be like, I rap or whatever. I just would just serve them, whatever they wanted, I would sell them a pack. And I never would like be, like this was times like, and I remember being around Wayne, somebody who was like very vocal about being an artist and still did ciphers and like fun stuff. And I never was like a cipher dude, you know what I mean? I always just was like, I rap, but like, and then I used to question myself, like, am I not like a normal rapper if I don't want to get in a cipher or something like that? But, I was always like confident, and, one thing led to another. But in those beginnings, when that kind of music came out, I was definitely like doing some hustling and stuff.
Well, it's funny, man. It's dope to hear you talk about it, man. But, the thing I love about you is that your real life plays out in your rhymes and in your music. So this same story you just tell us, like, you go through this on Saturday night off of the new album when, you have the line, I booked studio with Trap Money, Lil Wayne used to come get the bags from me.
Yeah.
And that turned out to be a pretty, that was a pivotal relationship. Your and Wayne bond is really pivotal in your career and you seeing the game as you see it today, right?
Yeah, I think I think I forever like kind of be in debt to Lil Wayne, you know what I mean? Like to Tune, because a lot of people, I saw what he did on the surface, but there was a lot of things that he did behind closed doors that I either picked up through observation, learning while on the job, that type of thing, and definitely giving me opportunities like going on tour, taking me on tour, doing the Duffel Bag Boy hook for free when he was the hottest dude in the world, shooting a video for free when he was the hottest dude in the world. Just believing in me and him installing that belief in me while everybody believed in him kept me confident through all the ups and downs and things of that nature. So that's why I always, rock with Dude. And our relationship was kind of based off, transactions at first, you know what I mean? And we grew to be brothers.
It's amazing, man. And y'all dropped the Cali Grove album.
Definitely. Which
is amazing. Y'all sounded like y'all had so much fun on that album, man.
Yeah, that was bucket list for me, man. Like to come in the game and like recognize that Lil Wayne is the reason why a lot of things are the way they are, whether it's good or bad in the industry. It feels good to like have that on my resume.
Does it surprise you where we are with trap music now? And I'm going to ask you this question as it relates to a lyric of yours, because initially, trap music comes from the undergrounds of Atlanta. Like, in this time period when you're talking about with T.I. and Jeezy, like, it's really snap music that was moving everything at the time. But now we're at a point where trap music is pop music. And on Rolls Royce Bitch, you say, used to have a killer crossover. Now I think I done crossed over. White fans at my rap shows. So many chains on.
Give you the cold shoulder.
Give you the cold shoulder. Does this trip you out? Like, you're a lyricist, you're an MC.
I'm hard and a shot. No, I'm just
for real. Definitely MC for real. But you a pop star, right? Like, you can go anywhere in the world and,
Yeah, that's crazy. Sometimes I be like, bro, I'm just, I get the argument, I'm just like you and shit. Like, I be like, they be like, 2 Chainz, I fucking whatever, and I'd be like, I'd be like, bro, I'm normal as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, it feels good to like be put on a pedestal. Like, man, you don't know how many nights that I wasn't successful.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know how many nights that I wanted to be, So it's like this contradiction when you like don't want to take pictures with fans or don't want to be bothered, because it's first of all, it's 2 or 3 different types of fans. It's fans that's like fans, generally, then it's fans because they have a Snapchat that they're trying to get their numbers up, and then there's fans that are like obsessive, that 1 picture's not good, 2 pictures is not good. They need it long ways, sideways, and a selfie. Not caring and telling me, this is my last picture, I swear. Like, I don't have, like we haven't developed a line waiting on you to you know what I'm saying? Right. So those are like the 3 different types of fans. But then it's those nights, like.
We got the cool fans in here, though, man.
It's right? Those nights. It's like, 2 Chainz, that first one didn't come out good. It's like, man, what the fuck I'm supposed to do and shit? Like, you know what I mean? Like, now, I hear this shit like 9 times a day. Yo, 2 Chainz, do you mind? Like, shit didn't like come out. But like I'm very like grateful at the same time, because I remember so many nights that I wanted to be somebody. I wanted to be a star. I wanted the attention. I wanted to, I was always someone that was very popular and things. I got that in high school. I always was someone that demanded attention. I was always someone who liked the dress and like had the, was always like always trying to have the finer things in life. Like, even my mom was like, I don't know where you got this ambition from, because she like, I ain't want all this stuff. Like, I don't know what made you want, like, it's just, and I know my surroundings help shape like my thinking, because like for a long time I damn near wanted to be like fat. And when I say fat, like, that was like the people that I knew had money in the neighborhood, they was like some fat ass dudes with like like a medallion like set out here, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I used to be like, that's cool, you know what I'm saying? They used to be like, you know, like my cousin and shit, rest in peace and shit, he was like big, but he was big. He had money, he had cars, he had like 2-3 girls, and I was like, that was the symbolization of money. But whatever it was, I knew I wanted, you know, more for myself, and I thought that I had like the appeal to like get crowds and all of that. So, you know, rap was the craft that God apparently chose. And
Right, nah, for real.
we working pretty good right now.
You know, I heard you. There's a flip side to it though, with the popularity of trap music, because I know you strive to tell real stories in your music, and in those real stories, there's a lot of pain. There's a safari. I heard you talk about this kind of safari vibe to the trap music and its popularity in terms of it allows an audience who maybe doesn't necessarily have to live that life or go through those struggles get kind of close enough to it without actually feeling the heat that's coming from the kitchen.
Yeah, I always try to like have an example of something when I'm describing something, and sometimes it makes sense, and sometimes it doesn't. But in the case of like the reason I think trap music is so or more mainstream or more pop than normal is that people enjoy the stories, the tales, the you know, the drug literature, the stripper literature, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? But it's like they get to go back to work the next day, they get to go back to normal and things like that. And you just kind of pick your favorite artist who has those entertainment qualities with the storytelling qualities. And it works for certain people, you know what I mean? And I just, you know, I don't know the reason why, you know, suddenly like it's became the go-to, but I know it has a lot to do with like the beat, you know what I mean? A lot of people don't even really listen to the content. It's a lot to do with the beat. Fortunately for the production, a lot of it is coming from the South or Atlanta people. And then, you know, you get something that's, you know, easier to say than whatever, and it just kind of works, you know what I mean? And you have a lot of artists that are able to feed their families through different formulas like this. So I'm not one to like really hate on old school, new school, or nothing like that. I just know that trap is one of the main, like, it's one of the leads right now. You know what I mean?
You know, you talked about mostly the beat. Let's talk about some of these producers that, I mean, you know, I know early on when we talk about T.I., you can't mention T.I. without talking about DJ Toomp.
Yeah, Toomp, definitely.
You know, guys like Zaytoven,
Yeah,
guys like Shorty Red, you know, when you're talking about Gucci, you're talking about Jeezy.
Absolutely.
And a young man that you came into the game with, working with a lot heavy, Mike Will.
Mike Will, yeah. Mike Will is dope as hell. He has Ray Sherman. He's always had a vision. It's just funny, like growing up, like if you live long enough and you know, the thing about life is you will meet somebody that's not a family member, but they'll become that. You know what I mean? Like, the older I get, it's like I damn near start liking people better than I like some of my family members for whatever the strangest reason is. You know what I mean? And in this industry, like, Mike Will is someone that I grew up with, very humble. He was very eager. And, like, I love to see him win. I want to see him win. We won together. We win. You know what I mean? And so I think that's another thing that carries the Atlanta torch. We want to see like the next dude win.
You know, another thing about the music and that you do well. You know, it's funny, man, because you kind of check all the boxes as an MC. I'm not just saying this because you're here, but if you really look at it, I mean, there's the lyricism that you get in. I guess that comes from you growing up listening to Jay, you know, and Dipset and Raekwon. You know, you definitely got the lingo. You bounce on the beat the right way, but then the ad-libs, where you make it fun, like you kind of construct your verses in a way where it's lyrical, you still let it breathe and still let it be fun. Like, I want to know what goes on in your head when you're kind of penning the verse that, and you're adding all these different ingredients. Like, yo, I got to say something fly. Okay, I got to drop her. You know, one of my favorites is Key to the Streets. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
You got to, like, I just know you got to be snapping. You have to be snapping. Like, you know what I mean? You got to say something. It has to have some realism to me in it. Like, the days where you can just say this far-fetched, like, bullshit-ass metaphor, like, that's with the emergence of Snapchat and social media and IG is like we can see what you have. So it's hard to talk about just, and I think people like the realism part. I think they like when you can back it up. I think they like the transparency. I think I say things that are very true and real, but people like, man, you crazy, you funny as hell. Like I just did an interview yesterday, and for I'm not even sure who, but they say like, yeah.
It's not important.
No, let me tell you something. For anybody from out of town, New York is the media capital of the world. When an artist comes up here for an album, and fortunately for me, I'm catching up to my media run because my daughter was sick for a couple of weeks, so I shut down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so now, like, I'm Pretty Girls, like, Trap Music been out 2 weeks, so I'm like really making up. So I'm doing so many media interviews, and they asking roughly the same thing, except Rob.
One of the things that I wanted, because you start a lot of trends that
True.
I don't know that you all the way get credit for.
True.
One of these things, and we debate about it a lot here at Genius, ad-libs
don't
and stuff
debate.
like that.
There's nothing to debate.
The skirt ad-lib.
No, go ahead. What you think I started?
I remember one of the first times I heard skirt on a record was on a record, and it had nothing to do with a car.
See, some of that stuff, I'm not gonna be like arguing, like trying to get the belt. Like I'm the first one that did the screw. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not going out like that. I'm not gonna be like petty MC or nothing.
But that's what I'm here for. I got you.
I don't know. Like ad-libs are very much a part of the culture now, but it was always very much a part of Atlanta music for the longest. Like even with like Jeezy would say yeah for like 30 seconds on the beat. and we would love it, you know what I mean? So it's all about like what's gonna be your ad-lib. It's like when you practice your autograph, when you think you're gonna be like successful, like I'm gonna work on my autograph, like niggas work on their ad-libs and shit. You know what I'm saying?
So you don't work on your autograph too?
Yeah. My autograph is like wicked. I know I was gonna be. I didn't know what my name was gonna. I didn't know it was gonna be 2 Chainz, but I knew I was gonna have a wicked. Wicked 2. Wicked.
Oh. another track on the album, Realize with Nicki Minaj. It's a hard record. I ain't going there with it.
Okay, thank you, man.
I told you, it's not gonna be your average. Oh,
all right, cool.
Fuck all that humble shit.
Been getting killed. Let's go.
How the ball go? Fuck all that humble shit.
I say, forgive me. I say, I said, can't even trust our own government. Oh man, fuck all that humble shit. I do some mumbling and I say, oh man, fuck all that mumble shit. I thought that was dope.
It's why I picked out of the whole song. That's the bar that I picked out.
I was like, It's like, nigga had his mouth out like, fuck all that mumble shit. You know what I mean? And everybody else did just like that when they heard like, boy, you crazy. And I'm like, because like my process is different from a lot of people as far as recording. But anyway, when I think shit is dope, then it's gonna like work. You know what I mean? Because I'm hard on myself. I'm my biggest critic.
What's your process like? Like, I know you don't write. You go in the booth, like, it's not pen in the pad, it's not in notes in your iPhone.
Nah, man, like my newest process that I've been doing for like over a year and a half is actually, and it's been most effective for me, is actually going in the booth without hearing the beat. And then, just like whatever God gives me, I've been able to make historic music off just whatever the beat was, the feeling. I went to like, sidebar, I went to like Q-Tips and rock with him last night, and he was like, like this beat? And I'm like, no! Like, I don't want to hear the beat, and I don't think he got it, so I put my headphones on, he still was like, I'm like, bro, load this motherfucker up, you know what I mean? And like, for me, on my process, I did it with Big Amount, I did it with Good Journey, I did it with every song you hear, like, and that's probably why, like, if you go back and listen to my music, my first and second verse may have different deliveries or whatever, because I might come in like for Rolls Royce, like, believe in yourself. Like, I didn't think about that. That just kind of came out like that. You know what I mean? That's what the beat. Vibe was the same thing. As soon as Vibe dropped, the beat made me say Vibe. And we happened to be in my Cali spot, and Ty was on the sofa. And these niggas came in behind me, and I was like, you know, and it just happened. Like, and it's fun for me like that. And you get my engineer somewhere in here, and that's just the process I have. And then it puts the pressure back on the producer, because I don't want to waste time in the studio. And second, I don't want to go through 15 beats and tell you I like 4, 9, 6. I don't have time for that. So I like for a producer to come to the studio with 3 beats, and I tell them 3 beats that you think could get your mama a new house. Like those 3 beats. Like, I don't want you to give me the beat. Like, this one is some new I'm working on. I think this shit, man, I don't got time. I don't have time. As a producer, you kind of like, no. But as like an artist, you know, some producers are so good, like they be like, I'm telling you, you'll kill this, and it like doesn't work with the artist, you know what I mean? Or the artists don't even see the vision for themselves sometimes. So I like when a producer comes, and any producer will tell you this, that's been working with me whatever the past year or two, like, they'd be like, didn't even hear the beat, you know what I mean? And I probably fucked up around the 8th bar, 12th bar, whatever, you know what I mean? But for me, it's just about taking off at what never naturally hits me. And you've been hearing all the, you know, Daniel's son, hibachi for lunch, all that shit that's been the process.
Right. What does you and Tip work on? Q-Tip.
Then I'm already working on my next album, so we'll do that interview later.
Already.
Sorry.
Man, nah, it's all good. Shout out to the bro, Drama, man, DJ Drama. You recently did an interview with him, and talked about being in the studio with Eminem, who's regarded.
I can't even really like.
Oh nah.
You already.
He's
know.
a friend of the room. Listen.
Hey man.
Well,
like,
check out that interview with DJ Drama.
Yeah.
Nah. But you know, it boils down to the question of you know, even on the song like Big 'Em Out with Drake, and just, you know, Drake is also highly regarded. Knowing that you're doing these collaborations, getting it on, you know, with these other MCs on the track, but still having the confidence to just go in there, and I'm gonna say the first thing that come to my mind, and it's gonna be ill.
Yeah. With the Drake record, he was at like a strip club up the street from my studio in Atlanta, and the strip club changed their name, and I was like, you know, I need to go rock with, you know, go fuck with Drake before it's, you know, too late. And I told somebody to let me know when they got like 2 o'clock, because I thought the studio was far. And when I Googled it, that shit was like, you know, a mile down the street. I'm like, oh shit, you know. And I went, and I'm like, I'm telling him, because he was fucking up a bag. Let's be clear. I was like, my studio down the street, bro, you know. But I'm like, damn, you know, like, I hope I ain't sound like a rapper. I hate when rappers hit me with that, try to trick me into, you know, doing some shit for free or whatever. You know, just like rappers be on that. You know, it be like this little rap conversation. You be like, yo, you know, bro, we gotta work. Like, it just be like a lot of, you know, I don't like that. You know, I like for it to be genuine. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, damn, I wonder, did I sound like I was trying to like lure him to the lab or whatever. You know what I mean? And like, I'm all in the strip club, you know what I'm saying, getting dances, thinking like, man, I hope I ain't sound like no, you know what I mean, no sucker nigga, like trying to be like, I'm down here working and whatever. So I ain't say nothing else about it. The club was over when we started walking out, and bro was like, where your studio at? And I'm like, shit, you can just follow me, and everything just kind of panned out from there. We went through records, and if people know, like, Drake is like an A&R. He knows, he has an ear for a lot of stuff. And for me, I can't say that I do. I just know that I over-record, I overwork, and so I have a lot to choose from if you are somebody that had that kind of ear. And so when I was going through things, you know, he was like, this is some shit, and that's how we did it.
Give it up for 2 Chainz, y'all. One time, come on.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that you said too, is that you know, how's your daughter doing, first of all? Because the media run got kind of halted a bit. Your daughter's okay?
Yeah, I just FaceTimed her, man. She on punishment. Like, I don't know what the hospital did. This motherfucker went from like, she woke up out of surgery, like, you know, she's so like geeked on the anesthesia or whatever the fuck you call this shit. She like, I want to go to the library. I'm like, yeah, that's my baby. You know what I mean? She like to read. This motherfucker like, you know, so when she got out, you know, not motherfucker, forgive me, Lord.
We're friends in the room. We get it.
Yeah. So, to try to make her feel good and try to have her redirect her pain, like they took my daughter's appendix out and they didn't have to. First of all, just like them, they're troubleshooting like she was a car or something. You know what I mean? But I thought that was the problem. So I felt like in a couple of days she would be better. So the surgery was like maybe a couple of days before BET Awards. So I fly out to BET Awards and she's not feeling any better. So I don't go to BET Awards. I don't do radio. I don't do anything that I really have to do, any of my obligations, except like a show that I had. And I remember like FaceTiming her and just telling her that I got like an orange tree in the front yard, like some different shit from a nigga from Atlanta, like real oranges and shit. So I'm telling her like, I'm trying to make her like forget about her pain. I'm like, you're gonna have to come up here and pick some of these oranges, just like on some, as soon as she felt better, she like, Daddy, we supposed to go to the Catley house, and so I put some things together, and I just been having it with me, like to try to. She's still been having like a little abdominal pains, but for the most part, I've been doing like my thing as far as like trying to balance having an album to just come out and her being like sick as hell, you know what I mean? And I'm a super duper family kind of guy. So for that, when she was sick and ill, I was super down and everything. She's doing better now, but it's just like she don't want to read no more. I don't know what happened. Like after the hospital, it went from. It's just some crazy shit. So now she's on punishment, actually. So.
We got to get off punishment, man.
No TV right now.
We got to sign a petition.
No iPod or pad or whatever the fuck they could do.
But, nah, man, the point I was going to make, and I'm glad she's all right, and she's doing better, is that, you talk about this media run, and usually in this business, artists drop an album and do as much as they can in a week. Like if the album was only recorded to last a week.
That's funny. I never thought about it like that.
You know what I'm saying? And the fact that we're here a couple of weeks later and still talking about it, I think we're going to be here a couple months later still talking about it and still absorbing it. You can make an album to just talk about for a week.
Man, I put a lot of work. I put a lot of energy. I put a lot of focus. I really micromanage this album because, this game is not promised. I don't know why people be playing with this rap shit like they gonna love you tomorrow, because it's not necessarily the case, you know what I mean? And so, they give you like this one incident thing to where it can really knock you off the, you know what I mean? You could lose followers or whatever matters to a lot of people, you know what I mean? And so for me, I put a lot of energy, even with the thought of the album being Pretty Girls Like Trap Music. I'm like, people gonna fuck with that. And then I'm like, the hard part is coming up with a cover to match it. Because you don't want to, like, for me, I don't want to have, like, a pretty girl on the cover. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that would be just too...
It's expected.
Yeah, it's too expected. And so to come up with, like, an idea, like, for me, the idea was mixing the trap house, the stove, mixing anything that I felt came from the trenches or represented that struggle and putting pink with it. I felt like pink was the universal... beautiful color for pretty women, for women, period. You know what I'm saying? Like me having 2 daughters and me just looking at what pink symbolizes for women, whether it's good, whether it's makeup, Avon, or whatever the hell, or whether it's something bad like breast cancer or something like that, is represented with the color pink. And so I wanted to make, like, when I started telling management, like, the direction I wanted to go for the covers, like, I was like, I want a beautiful trap house. You know what I mean? And they was looking at me like, you looking at me. And like, what the fuck you mean? You know what I mean? And I was like, you know what I mean? I wanted to still be a bando. I wanted to look like a trap house. But I wanted to be like pretty. Like, and they was looking just like you know what I mean? So I rode around. Me and Tech rode around and we took pictures of houses in some neighborhoods of Atlanta. And I was originally gonna do like some post, like, color correction, like, you know what I mean, to make these images that had weeds and stuff growing through the concrete and all of that. I was gonna make that beautiful. I was gonna make the image, the sky, you know what I mean? And then something hit me and said, this dude, Trouble Andrews, really had a grip on the culture as far as like rebirthing Gucci with the Gucci Ghost. I'm like, You know, I'm wearing Gucci now. I enjoy, you know, dressing and everything, and like, and I just reached out, and like for someone to be involved in fashion, art, and me to be involved in music, I thought it was a good marriage, and I just pitched the whole idea about a pink trap house, like painting, like art. You know what I mean? Just something, and it worked out, and that's how we have
That's dope.
everything.
Give it up, man. Give it up for the Pink Trap House. I mean, I was so jealous being in New York. I didn't get to go to Atlanta for. I actually had.
I can't believe you didn't do
the
that.
trap. You know, I had some things going on, bro.
My bad. But you know, that was the Pink Trap House is like the Statue of Liberty in Atlanta. It's like the Eiffel Tower. It's like
where do you get them? Because another thing that you do, man, and I want to give you credit for is you get back to the community a lot. You know, I remember the Dab and Santa. You know, the homies. I got sent a Dab and Santa sweater for free. And, you know, I was rocking it. I was cool with it. Then I found out what you were doing around Christmas time and giving back to families. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, no, I got to support. And, you know, I bought for my kids, you know, for my wife, like, because it felt like we was contributing to something. And you did the same thing with the Trap House. One day it was a church. One day it was a clinic to get tested for AIDS, right? One day there was a beat battle. Like, talk about that, like, using this trap house, something negative, right, in the community, or something that really kind of destroys communities, and flipping it to a positive.
Yeah, I mean, you got this pink house in the middle of Atlanta that has trap on it. It's bucking traffic up. You got people standing on cars and shit. Like, you know, I have the pink box Chevy in the front. I got the pink stove in the front, and it just became like what not too many people realize is that the inside was filled with art from people in the city, like their artistic expression for artists, the Atlanta scene, and everything. So it was an inspirational place. I felt like if you would have just went anywhere on the grounds, you'd have been inspired. You know what I mean? And you know, the neighbors didn't feel so good about it because I don't think that anybody knew it was going to be this alarming. Like, as far as being one of the top 10 most Snapchat places in the world is the Pink Trap House. If you look it up right now, it was where people traveled, I think, from distances as far as Australia and definitely New York. So it was a situation where it was interactive marketing at its finest. You know what I mean? It was my listening party was there. It was hot as fuck on the inside. It was like we was playing my album, and you know, my was like, phew. You know, I'm like, this is what the trap feel like. You know, you put a fan in the window and you deal with it. You know what I mean? And so, you know, obviously I put air conditioner in there after my listening party, but for me, it's all about giving people that experience, because I can't make this up. I didn't fabricate my life. I really came from a lot of that stuff. Although I do have diplomas, degrees, family, and everything else that I feel like is really cool, I really came from that kind of background.
That's real. Yeah, give it up, please. So, you know, finally, and what I want to get into, one, you know, I want to shout out Genius and the website and our Genius community.
Shout out.
Everybody who's here and the ones who couldn't be here. You know, Genius is a site where fans and music fans all over collaborate to put lyrics up. So a lot of times when you see the lyrics on the site, it's not us that work here that do it. It's fans just like you who sign onto the site and put the lyrics up and transcribe what
dope.
they hear.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and
that's fresh.
When they break it down, you know, it's the Genius community that comes and breaks it down. Anybody can sign up for an account. Yeah. And one of our community members, who goes by the name of Abomination of Obama's Nation, had a really, really dope question. I think that's a Kanye lyric, right?
Yeah,
it's a Kanye. Before y'all start looking at me crazy, it's a Kanye lyric.
It's a Yeezy lyric.
He had a question, and I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, you know, about the album. He says, what inspired you to stray away from the traditional trap sound on Burglar Bars, and do you plan on pursuing this type of sound in the future? So Burglar Bars is the last song.
Yeah, Burglar Bars is like the Burglar Bars has a little bit of my next album's concept and a little bit of trap in it, a little bit. So it's like a bridge or a commercial, whatever, going into the next project I have, which is a little bit more sample based and heavy on the lyrical side, you know what I mean, and really appeases me more than probably anybody, you know what I mean. But someone has put out so many successful mixtapes and been able to tour off mixtapes and been able to go get platinum plaques off mixtapes and everything. I'm smart enough to know what the fans expect from me and what they kind of want from me. And I always want to exceed expectations, but at the same time, I think fans like to grow with you, and it's hard for them just to adjust to a sudden change in direction or whatever you do as far as the music that they start liking you, whatever that is. And so for me, me putting out so many songs and me looking really at the data, I kind of know what people expect from me, but I know what I like, you know what I mean? And so it's important for me to try to, do both. Like, why the fuck am I doing this if I can't do what I like to do, which is like rap all fucking day, you know what I mean? And do it in different ways, different deliveries. And then, you know what I mean, I think I'm pretty good at my beat selection, and that's what, kind of keeps me around, you know what I mean? So for Burglar Bars, it's something that has substance, it has a melodic feel, it has that chill bump feel, it has an intro by Farrakhan. It's just that next level, God level, like, trap flow, you dig what I'm saying? Because the content is still talking about having burglar bars, knowing that the only person gonna break in your house is your fucking neighbor, and just realizing, those small details and growing up with those small details around about, it's, I have trust issues, period, but just growing up in that kind of environment, how you develop those kind of issues.
Nah, man, it's definitely a dope track, man. Featuring Monica too, man. Give it up.
Yeah,
for
Monica's singing on there. Shout out to Monica.
Real,
We went to high school together, so that was overdue.
It's funny too when you talk about that lyricism. One of the things I love about you, just when you feel like you heard it all, like you might have heard every drug reference there is in hip hop, every way to talk about selling coke.
For real.
And then Chainz says, "I moved that blowout like we were Afrocentric."
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I get. And I'm sitting here like, the fuck is wrong with you, man? Talk about that.
Some people still ain't.
Can we explain? Can we break it down a little bit?
I'm what in the most humbling way. I'm ill, B, in a very humbling way. Like I was way more arrogant than this before I became, rich or whatever. So I'm trying to like balance it, because like it's like cockiness and confidence, and then like I'm like trying to like balance it, because both of them are accepted in the industry, but some of them can leave like bad taste in people's mouth and shit. Like if you like a little too cocky, they can't wait to see you like slip up and fall. So I like don't think I'm gonna slip up and fall. First of all, if I do, it's gonna be on my own drench because of my sauce. But I don't think I'm gonna like. I'm very but like I be saying some shit. That's why it be funny to me when people don't think I be saying some shit. Like I be like,
well, I can't. We've been having this conversation
for a long time.
Years.
Yeah, I say some shit, man, for real. Check that shit out if y'all ain't got pretty girls like trap music. Go through that shit with just know that if you hear it and it sound like it was nothing in there, just know that it's some fishy shit going on. Like you need to go back and listen. Like you just listen to Chainz ain't say shit in there, like it's very false. You have to go back. You have to really go back.
You can log on. You get the Genius app. You can read the lyrics and follow along.
You have to go
Tech sent the lyrics over, man. So we good.
Oh Lord, I told him to send them to me first, man, because Tech, then my vocabulary is like Tech was like, what the fuck is you say? You know what I mean? But anyway, I think he got it. He probably got it right.
Now, my brother, man, I want you to continue being who you are, and you could be humble. We gonna talk the shit for you, myself, everybody in this room, right?
It's a nice looking crowd in here. I appreciate y'all too, man. What made y'all come fuck with me, man? Anybody like y'all? I want to hear from one of y'all. Like,
let's go. We got another mic.
I got you, man.
Let's go.
That's the girl lick her tongue got. Oh no, that's a dude. Never mind. That a girl. Y'all can't see it and be like, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
It's the bars, man. I think you straddle a line of current trap music. People ain't bringing the lyrics the way you are, but people like the beat and the bounce. But you bringing those lyrics along with that beat and that bounce. For me, that's what makes me a fan. Also, as a musician, you inspire me to keep pushing because you just prove what hard work can do. So that's why I'm here. That's why I was there Sunday night.
For sure. Thank you.
And that's why I'm always be there as long as you keep putting it out.
Man, that's love, bro. That's love. That's love.
Give it up. What you were supposed to say, too, is My studio right down the block.
No, New York nigga. You mind if I rap for you right there?
Nah, who else?
If I rap for you
I
right
got
now.
you right here. Say your name too.
Hi,
Hey, Sugar, how you doing?
I'm good. My name is Ade, and
That's
I
a
graduated
beautiful
from Howard University in 2014. I know you've been there a lot.
Yeah, I
But,
fucked them folks up one year.
I know.
Yeah.
So my thesis paper to graduate was about HIV and the African American community. So when you converted the trap house to an HIV testing center, I just wanted to commend you because it's really important, especially in our community. It really affects us disproportionately compared to any other race. So the fact that you did that, it was really important to me. I just wanted to know why. And also, your song Rolls Royce is my favorite one off the album.
Thank you.
And you said health is wealth. So being that you're doing this whole like testing center and then you said that, I just wanted to know like what's your stance on health? How do you stay healthy? And like if you have any like advice for us, growing up in your community, like how to take care of ourselves in the way that, is important.
Okay, three questions in one. And comma.
Just made my job easy.
With the trap house thing, the trap house was making so much fucking noise besides the news and the neighbors that literally everybody in the world reached out and tried to do partnership, try to come up with their own ideas, piggybacking off our ideas, and it just wouldn't go through. But the health department of Atlanta actually reached out and wanted to team up with us because they saw a natural, positive crowd of young individuals who they felt like they could bring the testing center out there. They brought out a huge truck out there, and we tested maybe 60 to 100 individuals right then on the spot. To determine, what your deal was and everything. And I just, why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, why not? Why not? Like that. I think that's a great idea. I think it uplifts the community. I think it sets an example for other artists who making all this money doing walkthroughs and they ain't giving shit back, ain't paying no tithes, ain't giving their mama no money, ain't fucking doing shit. You know what I mean? And so I came from those places where I wouldn't mind helping somebody. And as far as the health is wealth line. I don't eat beef. I don't eat pork. I try to go to the gym when I can. Another song on that OG Kush diet. That's probably the only diet that I'm on. I smoke a few joints and I drink water like fuck. And you are what you eat. Like, food is really medicine. I think people really need to understand that. Like, that's really medicine, like what you put in your body. So for me, and being on the road and just happen to really like deal with it in balance. What we just ate? What we just ate, y'all? Who? No, I ain't know about you. Oh, Maestros maybe? Maestros? Yeah. And then in my rider, I have lobster and shrimp and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, my rider different. They be trying to give me that black ass fried chicken. I'm like, nigga, give me some grilled motherfucking shrimp. You know what I mean? Seafood or something. But yeah, that's kind of like the worst thing I do, I guess. If you want to say smoking is the bad thing, I'm not even heavy on drinking that much. So.
Yeah, let's do one more, man. While you here for 2 Chainz, I want to see if I get somebody in the back.
We got some people over here. Let's do 2 more.
2 more?
Let's do your back and.
It's only right.
Yeah, front.
Nah, you got it, bro.
I just want to say, 2 Chainz, you came a long way.
Word.
I remember when you was a duffel bag boy. You did the V103 car and bike show.
Okay.
You was performing. You was like, it's all about pussy and money.
Yeah.
Ho.
Wow, nigga, you ill.
Hey.
Even Dollar left me on stage. That was hard. Like, I was up there by myself. Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah. Okay. So
You ain't know it was for kids and all that there, so you had to apologize. You was getting booed, but from there until now, you came a long way. So I just wanted to let you know I was there when that happened. You feel me? So that's all that is. Man.
Yeah. I want to kill you now, nigga, but
You sang.
yeah. So like V103 car and bike show is about to come up again, and it's this family thing. Like, well, all families come and all this, and somebody. I didn't hear them, but they said you couldn't cuss. You know what I mean? But like, I didn't hear that part. So we have this song with 3 6 Mafia and shit. It's like, what he said, pussy and money, something crazy that like when you can't cuss saying pussy and money, it's just like that sounds really bad. So I go up there, I'm doing a joint, boom, I look back, Dollar like walking off stage. They're like, ooh, you can't, somebody tell me you can't come. I'm like, oh, I'm like, excuse me. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I apologize, because I always enjoyed being on stage. Stage wasn't like a place that made me nervous. Stage is like now, and everything is very therapeutic for me. So, yeah, I just took it for what it was. I didn't really like get down or out or anything, but that's a very fucking true story, straight up.
True. We got one more, man. I want to maybe somebody from the back, man. If somebody got a question, I just want to tell 2 Chainz how ill he is, since my man over there humble. Right here, look, I got you. You about to ball too. You posted. This better be a good one. You all right?
They serving alcohol in here?
Yeah, he posted up. Yo,
get something to drink, man.
Don't fuck it up now. I'm messing with you.
2 Chainz in 2013, you was on the America's Most Wanted Music Fest, and we got to see you on there. We was doing the street team marketing for Play Gig It, and you was up there with Cat One. And what's crazy is I had a dreads at the time, and I was moving with my street team boss, and they was calling me Screw Chainz. And there was one time we was at the stage, and you was like, yeah, my Def Jam fam's there. And when I had the cup of Def Jam, the girls looked at and was crazy, but ever since then, man, Screw, you've been my guy, man, Screwy Louie, man, Screw 2 Chainz, man, that's the question. Nah, I like your lyrics though. Everything you know what I mean? You a dope dude.
Hell, drunk ass Screwy, man. Y'all make noise for drunk ass Screwy Louie, man. That nigga drunk as. Y'all got to be serviced. That nigga went nowhere fast. That's called treadmilling. Just.
That's the last one.
Like, where's this nigga going with this shit?
We took a question about the bar. That's what it was.
Nigga going crazy shit. Like,
nah, man. Shout out to you.
Appreciate y'all niggas, man. For real.
Yo, Chainz, man. I just want to thank you, man. No matter from the mixtape days, from the True Religion days.
True Religion is about to close down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have been probably closed that shit down.
But up until now, my brother, man, you've always, when I put that call in, it was like, man, we need to do that talk. I mean, we make this is damn near an annual thing for you and me right now. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate you coming to Brooklyn, coming to Genius to kick it with us, man.
Congratulations on your newest endeavors as well, my brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man.
Yeah, be happy.
Coming tomorrow.
Be happy. My new slogan for my CEO clothing line is, I want you to win. It's like, I don't know if that's painful for people. I think like people like can't say that shit but brother, I want you to win.
That's real. And we want y'all to win, man. That's why we out here, man, kicking this game. So one time, please give it up for yourselves.
Yeah.
And then 2 times, please give it up, man, for my player partner right here, 2 Chainz.
True. Put your tools on, True. I need my fucking phone. Somebody Snapchat that shit. Somebody put that on my Snapchat.
All right, man. Pretty girls like trap music, man. It's out in stores right now. Stream it, download it, buy it, do what you gotta do, man. It is worth your time, your money, your effort is worth your ears.
One of the best projects that came out this year.
True.
And I done heard all the shit that's been dropped. I've been listening to that shit. I've been listening to mine a little bit more, Yeah.
That's what it is. DJ Mega Man, take us out, brother.